Yo, what's going on, guys? Jared here. Today I have another deck profile from you for post Photon Hypernova. This is going to be my Gishki Spright deck profile that I'm going to be doing before the set is released. I actually completely forgot these cards were coming out because I've been so focused on Kashtira. But when I remember it, I was like, holy shit, these cards are awesome. And yeah, I really want to go through them with you and show you why this deck is so powerful. But first, I went through the subscriber count, so please subscribe. I'll have the little thing that shows the amount of people not subscribed. It is crazy. Please subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers. But without further ado, here is my Gishki Spright deck profile. Okay, so here is the deck. This deck is very hard to fit things in. I'd like to start off by saying that, and by no means is this a final version. Same thing with my previous deck profile. I should have said that in that profile, that all this is just starter deck profiles that you can start with and then work from there and edit at your own accord. These are not like the top tier deck profile or anything like that. These are very minimal testing, just something that you guys can throw together and try out for yourselves. But yeah, so we're going to jump right into it with the deck profile, and then I'll go over the new cards when we come across them. So first off, 2 Gishki Abyss. I do not want to play 3 of this card because you will be clogged with normal summons and it gets really obnoxious. So we are not going to play 3 of it. But Abyss is very, very good. Not once per turn, when it's summoned, add a Gishki with 1,000 or less defense from your deck to your hand. That is pretty much all of the Gishkis. Now, to the new Gishki, of which is insane. Oh, by the way, level 2, also level 2. This card is ridiculous. If you would ritual summon exactly 1 water ritual monster with a card effect that would requires the use of monsters, you can use this as the entire tribute. So if you ritual summon, you can use this Gishki, you can also use Shadow, and you can also use Vision as the entire tribute. Very important to know. If this card would be normal or special, if this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon a Gishki monster from your deck except itself. Also, you cannot declare attacks except with rituals for this turn. Who cares? So the point is you can special summon a Gishki from your deck. Another level 2 Gishki, which would be Abyss, which then the Abyss, of course, can search for a Gishki Shadow or Vision or another one of these. It is absolutely crazy. This is also just the fact that they're level 2 is ridiculous. But yeah, obviously it combos with Spright very well. And then after that, we have 2 copies of Gishki Shadow. Again, full tribute of a ritual, and then you can discard it to add a Gishki spell. Vision is the same thing, but for Gishki monsters. So you can discard it to add a Gishki ritual monster for your deck to your hand, discard to add a Gishki ritual spell for your deck to your hand. And then they can both be used as the full tribute. This being level 2, kind of relevant, comes up sometimes. Just important to know. 3 copies of Spright Blue, because Spright monsters are unbalanced, and you get a lot of advantage just for breathing, pretty much. 1 carrot, 3 jet, 1 red. That's very standard for Spright lineups now. 2 copies of Swap Frog. We do want the option to make Totally Awesome in this deck. It has not always come up, but it is something that can come up. Also, very important to know, again, when I said that it is hard to fit things into this deck, I really did want to put the Nimble package in here. It is so hard to fit cards into this deck without making it go over 40 or making it less consistent or having too many normal summons, because if you put in Nimble Angler and Nimble Beaver, you have this is a normal summon, this is a normal summon, this is a normal summon, and then you have the Beavers and the Anglers. It's just a lot of normal summons that I don't want to clog up on, and you can't get them out of your hand, so it is my biggest fear to play too many. So I'm just for now, just 2 Swap Frog. If you have the option to go for it, to go for Toad, you can do it. If not, it's not the biggest deal. After that, we have the new Ritual Monster, which I, again, completely forgot this card was coming out. It is so cool. You can Ritual Summon this card with any Gishki Ritual spell. Of course, there's like 3 of them right now, but 3 or 4 Ritual spells, but we're only going to play 2. If this card is Ritual Summon, target a water in your graveyard, special summon it. So, if you have used the Vision, which is the important one, to search this earlier in the turn, you can just immediately special summon another level 2 monster back. That is super good for Spright, obviously. It cannot be destroyed by battle with a monster special from the extra deck. It's 3,000 attack anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. But it is, you never know. It could still come up if your opponent has like a Kaleido Heart or something with the field spell. They can't beat over it. Once per turn, when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can return 1 Gishki Ritual monster you control to the hand, and if you do, negate the activation, and if you do that, shuffle that card into the deck. That effect is nuts. That stops so much, and you don't have to worry about a graveyard effect triggering. You can also protect your Spright combo if you summon. You summon this first, then do your Spright combo, so you can protect it from the things like Effect Veiler, Ash Blossom, and stuff like that. Oh my god, this card's so cool. So it's like a little extender. It's a nice negation. So good. Play 2 of it for now. Again, there's other ritual monsters that you can play that are also good. Zeogigas is a pretty good draw card, and it's pretty good going second, but for now I'm just playing 2 of this. This is more of a sub-engine. Again, you're playing 2 engines together, so you kind of want the best prospects of those engines so that they synergize very well. I find this to work for me personally. Next up, we have another new card, is 3 Aqua Mirror Focalization. I completely forgot this card was in here. I looked up Gishki cards, and I skipped over this at first because it's not a Gishki card. I actually had to type in Gishki into the description to find it, and I was like, holy crap, I forgot this was in here. Add 1 Gishki monster for your deck to your hand. It is a Rhoda. That's crazy. During the end phase, if you control a water ritual monster, banish it to set an Aqua Mirror spell or trap for your deck to your graveyard. From your deck or graveyard. So that means you only need to play 1 other Aqua Mirror spell or trap to use this effect, which is very important because you can use both effects in the same turn. You can only use this effect of Aqua Mirror Focalization once per turn. Now, because it says this effect, that is meaning the graveyard effect. So, if you have multiple Aqua Mirror Focalizations in your hand, they are like Reinforcement of the Armies. You can activate more than one of them in a turn based on this translation. So, if you have 2, you are able to get Grim and like a Vision, and then get a Gishki Abyss can get to Shadow, and then that can give you your immediate line into the Ritual Monster before going into Gigantic. So, like 2 of these pretty much equals a Spright line plus a negate. Very important. Next up, we play 1 up copy of the Gishki Aqua Mirror, and the reason we're playing 1 is because it's very searchable and it recycles itself very easily. So we're only playing 1 of it right now. We also play 1 copy of the new Gishki Ice Mirror. By the way, this is the Aqua Mirror that you are playing for the spell, so you can always be able to set this and it puts itself back in the deck. So this is always going to be live with this. Ice Mirror is used to ritual summon a Gishki. Tribute 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, or monsters from your hand or field whose total level is exactly the ritual monster. Again, you can use these to sub it out for the full tribute, but being able to tribute your opponent's monster is very, very cool because you can tribute their monster plus your monster to, clear their guy, non-targeting removal to ritual summon. So that's a very, very cool effect. If it's in the graveyard, you can target a Gishki monster in your graveyard, place it to the top of the deck, and place this card in the bottom of the deck. So you never have to worry about your cards running out. This deck pretty much has infinite advantage with the way that it's built. It is really, really crazy, to be honest. Excuse me. So yeah, we're only playing 1 of it because we don't want to brick on ritual spells. Like, they are very searchable with Gishkis, with the Abysses and the Shadow and the Vision. And then this going into Abyss, there's a lot of ways to search. So we don't need to play like an obscure number of rituals and ritual spells. You can just search them very easily. Again, we are playing 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity because the Gishki cards do not need extra deck cards. They are an engine that is completely by their own and can go into Gigantic by themselves. So you do not need any extra cards for them. So Pot of Prosperity, just like a normal Spright, works perfectly well. 1 copy of Spright Smashers because it's searchable. I do like 2 of this card, but sometimes you brick on it and it sucks. 3 copies of Starter because Starter is broken. 2 copies of Triple Tactics Taxing because this card is, again, broken. Coming out next set, very good. And then 2 copies of Talons. Again, I don't like bricking on them, so for now this is what I'm playing. And then 3 copies of Imperm. I don't like that this is pretty much the only hand trap that we're playing, but we're playing 7 go second cards, so that is like not the worst. And this deck has a decent time going second because of like you get a lot of free bodies and with the ritual spells and the ritual monster and stuff. Again, it's I wish I could fit more hand traps, but space is very tight in a deck like this. Again, side deck, this is all just very good options for the next format, just cards to keep in mind in the back of your head. The new Bestial, being able to have a second real effect to just overpower Soraneer by a mile. But if you want to play all of them, now you have 12 Bestials you can play. After that, we're going to go to the extra deck where we have 1 copy of Zeus, 1 copy of Downer Magician, 2 copies of Gigantic, 1 Mannequin Cat, 1 of the Soul Sweeper, 1 Totally Awesome, and then 1 Dark, 1 IP, 1 Unicorn, 3 Elf, 1 Sprint, and 1 Underworld Goddess. So the reason I'm playing Sprint still, even without playing the Nimble Angler, is because the bounce can be very relevant, and I don't want to sacrifice it if I don't need to. This is a very relevant effect that could also be good for IP if you have a Gigantic sitting up. So it is just something to keep in mind that Sprint's bounce effect is still really good. But if you can fit Angler in here, if maybe you want to go above 40, by all means, I like 40 cards. That's just my opinion. Again, just to clarify, because Gishki Abyss is a old card, it is not a hard once per turn, meaning you can summon it off of Grim or off of Gigantic Spright. Actually, I'll make this even funnier. We can normal summon Gishki Abyss to search a Gishki. Then we can use the Gishki Abyss to go into a Gigantic. We can use that Gigantic to then summon out a Grim, to then summon another Gishki Abyss from the deck, to then search again, because it is not once per turn. After that, you can link off the Gishki Abyss and the Grim to go into Elf. Use the Elf to bring back, hey look, that Gishki Abyss again, and be able to search for a 3rd time. So in this deck, you have the high potential of just like other cards to abuse level 2s that are old and are not hard once per turns, being Gishki Abyss. So it is just something to keep in mind and consider. So yeah guys, that is going to be my Gishki Spright deck profile for post Photon Hypernova. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I would really appreciate you guys could subscribe. I'm truly trying to hit to 1,000 subscribers, and if you check out my channel, I did post a coaching video where I'm going to be doing coaching for you guys. If you're interested in that, it is pinned to my channel currently, and yeah, just something to consider. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.